Should the public health system in Canada essentially equate the risks of being a moderate drinker with the risks of being a regular smoker when it comes to a connection with cancer? That is something that is under active consideration by the Senate of Canada right now, thanks to a bill introduced by Senator Patrick Brazeau. Now, Senator Patrick Brazeau's bill would put warning labels on alcoholic beverages that warn about an increased risk of getting cancer from consuming alcohol on a regular basis. Now, does this make sense? Is there actually evidence that shows that this should be something that we should be pursuing in Canada? Well, if you look at some of the evidence that's been put forward recently, the answer is clearly no. When it comes to alcoholic beverages, if you consume 2 alcoholic beverages per day on a regular basis, your increased risk of getting cancer is 1/100th of a percent. Now, compare that with being a smoker. If you're a regular smoker, your increased risk of getting cancer is an increase of 2,400%. So, if we were to put cancer warning labels on both of those products, that would make a mockery of Canada's public health system, and it would question the integrity of Canada's public health system because it would devalue the weight of putting a warning on something like cigarette packaging, which cigarettes have a clear risk of increased risk of getting cancer. And if you equate that with something like moderate alcohol consumption, where there is such a marginal, infinitesimally small increased risk that it is not even worth reporting, then the question becomes, what is the integrity of the system itself? What is the integrity of the public health system if we're willing to do that? We all know that in life that there are increased risks of doing things. If you're a runner, there's an increased risk you're going to get hit by a car. If you're a swimmer, there's an increased risk that you're going to drown. These are everyday realities that people face here in Canada. That doesn't mean we should put a warning label on absolutely everything we do. Now, why is Senator Patrick Brazeau doing this? He says he is doing this because of his own personal experience with alcohol. He was an alcoholic for many years, went through difficult periods in his life, and is now sober. That's great that he's now sober, but that doesn't mean that he needs to go on a crusade against alcohol and essentially make a mockery of our public health system with warning labels that simply don't make sense. So, as the Senate of Canada currently considers Senator Patrick Brazeau's bill, it should absolutely be rejected. It devalues the weight of putting warning labels on things like cigarettes, which cause a genuine, significant increased risk of getting cancer. If you're going to put warning labels on things like alcohol, which cause such a marginally small increased risk that it's not even noticeable and is essentially a rounding error. So it doesn't make sense, and Canadian senators should absolutely reject Senator Patrick Brazeau's bill.